hooker with a heart of gold, prairie nymphs, soiled doves, sporting women, whores.
Prairie nymphs is very cute.
You're listening to The Oldest Profession. My name is Kaytlin Bailey. I worked as an hourly escort when I was in high school for no good goddamn reason. I was just super curious. And then when I needed money for the first time, I got into sugaring because I'm not stupid.
I'm Wendi Starling. I started selling my panties on the internet when I was 34. Then from there, made the very smart leap to sugaring at the ripe old age of close to 35. So I do that to help support comedy.
So every week on The Oldest Profession, I am going to tell a story about an old hoe that came before us because it's the oldest profession, so it's got to have a history, right? And all these bitches have really cool stories. So I'll be telling a story from a sex worker, whore, lady of the night, woman of ill repute, whatever you want to fucking call it, that came before us.
And you are listening to The Oldest Profession.
To The Oldest Profession.
You got to keep things spicy.
What's finger licking good? I mean, come on. Obviously, The Oldest Profession
has a history. Yeah, so this bitch will not leave me alone. So I think I found an apartment.
Congrats.
Thanks. It's a sub. I mean, I'm going to do it just at least for like 3 months and feel it out. Because she's already
driving you
obnoxious.
Crazy.
She's just like, this is her right now. She's texting me, blowing up my WhatsApp. She's like, hey. And I'm like, bitch, email me the terms of the sublease.
I'm not ready to enter into a codependent relationship with you right now.
Right.
You can't afford me.
She wants to Skype with me. It's crazy. So I haven't, but thank you. I got 5 different emails, like messages on social media and whatever from listeners who are very concerned about me finding an apartment, which is very sweet.
Well, it's hard. So I
found a place, but maybe she's going to kill me. I don't know. Who knows?
I don't know. She's probably just
I'm about to break my goddamn phone. But hey, what are you going to do? Huh? She'll take my cat. She's European.
Good. Oh, well, I mean,
I don't know if that's a mean thing to say.
Maybe it's a cultural difference. I thought they were supposed to be colder. That's the Germans. The Germans are.
Yeah, that's me. I'm German.
Well, there you go. Right. So no wonder you're allergic.
So
she's probably Italian, and you guys
have
some ancient.
She's Italian.
She's Italian. You're German. You guys have fundamentally different expectations of affection. And social interaction.
She is 100% Italian. Ding, ding, ding,
ding, ding, ding. We did it. She's not wrong. You're not wrong. You're just different.
Right. Well, she's wrong.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm on your side.
The Skype thing is wrong. Who wants to? The FaceTime thing.
It's intrusive.
It's very
FaceTime is intrusive.
I do not, and especially if it's someone that you're dating. Did you ever do this would be interesting if you're listening and you do cam stuff, if you're a cam model. That is, to me, the most stressful.
I couldn't imagine. It's like, it's weird. Every sex worker has different boundaries. I could not imagine stripping because I feel too vulnerable as a performer.
Yes.
Like, I couldn't face the rejection or deal with the, hard, heart, what's it called?
It's a high pressure sales.
High pressure sales.
Yeah.
I couldn't deal with the high pressure sales. And then with webcam stuff, I don't think I could deal with my image being out there.
Right.
And I don't think that I could trust the other person on the other side to keep that
right
between us.
Well, yeah, and some people and even with I don't like with Instagram and all that pictures. I don't like that kind of stuff. That's I'm like, look. Big part of my charm is being around me. I don't know if you can tell by the sexy voice I have and the way that someone is
it's hard to capture that charisma on a camera.
I know. Unless I'm acting, and I'm a very good actor. We both are. Hire us.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, did I just paint myself into a corner? It's not, but it's a skill.
Yeah, and then when dudes, when you did FaceTime, are like, oh, do you want to let's FaceTime and jerk off with each other? I'm like, no.
That's a lot. Yeah, no, I find phone sex is too intimate now, where I'm like, just fuck me. Just bend me over and push my face into a pillow and fuck me. I don't do this thing where now it's my turn to come up with what the words for the next activity are. And do I have to yes and your dumb suggestions? And if you say nipple one more time, I want to throat punch you. It's just,
They can't think, it's a night. I would rather just take a train of 17 dudes coming directly into my asshole than FaceTime with someone when I don't have a hair and makeup and lighting crew. Those are my, and we talk about it, and you have to have your standards and your boundaries, and you know them ahead of time.
And everyone gets to make them up for their own self. That's what boundaries are. Right? So, I don't have a problem fucking, a bunch of different people, but, please don't FaceTime me.
Right. You take a picture of me from my bad side, that's what I'll tell this Italian broad. I'm like, listen, we can't get on Skype, but You can put your whole hand in my butthole if you want.
Yeah.
Anytime you want.
Anytime. Yeah, you're always prepared, like a Boy Scout.
Yeah.
Like a Boy Scout butthole.
Oh my God, I can't. And I'm like old now. And my birthday was yesterday. I'm 36.
Congratulations.
So, thank you. Now I have even less time to put up with your bullshit. I don't like the less fucks to give. I think that's a weird thing. Do you ever say that?
That's what I'm most looking forward to.
I don't know, but I did the phrase of it is like so played out.
Oh, all right. That's
I just
fair.
mean the phrasing, because people are just like, no fucks given. And I'm like,
yeah, that's, yeah.
To me, that to me is the same as like.
That's a sentiment better shown, not talked about, right?
Yeah.
Show people you give no fucks. Don't tell them you don't give no fucks.
I don't know if anyone's ever met me in
Show, don't
person.
tell.
You can tell within 5. I've never said the phrase, I have no fucks to give. It's pretty clear that I'm out of them. It's pretty.
She's already drunk.
It's pretty clear that I didn't even tie my shoes today. Because I'm staying in a hotel for my birthday present for myself, and it actually is really nice to not drag a bunch of shit around. And it is very fancy, like to get a hotel when I paid for it, and like I'm like, oh, and I don't have to have sex with anybody. Not that. And it was just a strange thing because like I would bring somebody back and fuck them. But I was like, I paid for this, and I'm just going to lay around and just fart. Oh, my God, it's a dream come true.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but so anyway, this bitch, who knows? We'll see. Maybe I'll let her fist my A. You never know.
I mean, it sounds like she wants to go there. She's certainly blowing you up.
I know.
Ugh, coming on too strong, too fast, roommates.
I know. I'll give you something to blow up. How are you?
We're all doing our best, Wendi. I don't know. What do you want? Christmas was intense.
Yeah.
It was just sort of wall to wall intense. Trey and I both went back down to North Carolina. And we spent Christmas Eve with my parents. And then Christmas Day with his parents and like little nephews. So they're super cute. Except that Christmas Eve, me and my whole family and Trey got blackout drunk, and apparently my father took Trey down to the trophy room where all of the heads from all of the different animals that he's killed over the course of a lifetime
fucked the deer heads.
My father walked Trey through exactly how he would kill him if he ever physically or psychologically harmed me, and then confessed like a bunch of black op murders that he's done. So now Trey knows more about my father's military service than I do.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's
so
nice.
Dad walked him through all of the like people he's murdered that he made eye contact with. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like
man.
the unarmed
That is sexy.
operations. Yeah. So weird times. And then so we were very, very, very hungover. My father hazed my boyfriend. That's what happened.
Oh, for sure.
They went,
and he probably that was probably a lot of bullshit too. If I were you don't think so? See, that seems like a move your dad would do. Like if I was your dad,
right,
I would for sure just make up a bunch of bullshit.
I don't know. Dad's been the PTSD's gotten weird in his retirement. So like, I don't doubt that my dad's going through a lot. He's like, this is the anniversary of his sister's death, and he like watched his sister and his brother-in-law like die by frightening. My dad's a real intense person who feelings are very confusing for him. And
it's
so
weird. It seems like you would have been raised by a real chill person.
You know what, Wendi? Oh God. So yeah, they just had that was intense, and then we hung out with his super chill family. I accidentally told his entire Southern Baptist family about this podcast, so listening in.
You just switch it, be like, sorry, I was blackout drunk. I didn't used to be a sex worker. The real secret is I was in black ops.
Yeah.
And I made eye contact with 17 people that I've murdered. 17 is the number day. That was also the number that I chose for the ass coming train. I'm aware I should be picking different numbers.
We had a really honest conversation. It was really uncomfortable, but it's whatever.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Dad and I were both 17. We made life-changing decisions.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And we both have... It's weird. My whole life, I feel like I've been protecting my father from my choices. And apparently, he's spent his entire life thinking that he's got to protect me from his. And I'm like, what if we could just both be fine with it?
Yeah,
you're like, fine.
And how interesting, because he would murder people but make eye contact with them. And you're like, look, I fucked people, but I've never made eye contact with anyone. Right. So you're the weird one, Dad.
Right.
You're the gross
fucked
one.
Up.
I don't make eye contact in person or over goddamn FaceTime. So
too much happening.
I know.
Yeah. But it was just like and then, my mom and I are always like fucking at each other's throat. So it was like, no. Going home, I'm just a ball of like cold sweat tension. I wake up like in a puddle of sweat every morning. It's not going home is I hate it.
Oh yeah, no. Everyone is very upset that I didn't go home for the holidays. I could not have been happier. I just stayed in New York.
Yeah.
And I had I didn't gorge on any kind of, I didn't have any fancy like meals or parties. I went out with a couple. I went to Cipriani in Soho. I got to pick I went out with Bracelet Guy.
Lovely.
And he was like, "Where do you want to go?" It was Christmas Eve, and we went there. And I just like, once you're out in the city and you're doing shit, it was a holiday season. I just like bounced from like planned date to then like random hookup, and I just got like, I went to really nice restaurants and got my pussy. It was amazing.
That sounds.
It was
incredible.
one of the best holidays, which is why the fact that, and then as soon as I laid down, I got sick.
Yeah, because your body was like, look, we've been barely keeping this together for months in a row now. As soon as you tell me we can relax, you're getting all of it.
Yeah, it's where I go,
no
I'm
shit,
like,
tummy shit, shitty shit.
Yeah, I'll be like, you know what? I'm just gonna I'm gonna take a break. I'm not gonna drink for a couple days, and then as soon as I'm like, oh, the alcohol and drugs I've been putting in my body has been fine.
You've been killing the bacteria,
right? And now that I'm like, I took a break. I'm like, whoa, Jesus! As soon as I can breathe again, I'm gonna get some drugs.
Oh no, feeling things is hard. I don't want to be that in touch with my body. There's shit wrong with it.
Yeah, I'm like, oh no, this does not feel good. But I'm excited to be back. The Heidi Fleiss episode is fun. People like that.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Boy, was that you could hear in that episode, and I want to get into this because I'm excited to talk about this chick that we have today. But it was funny if you listen to the last episode, because it was like whiskey, and they were both really tired.
Yes.
And then you can hear the dehydration,
and both of our weird raspy voices,
and like the dry. Yeah, I was like, oh, what a meta episode that we would just start boozing on the Heidi Fleiss episode where we're like, you guys, you need to watch out for your vices, and then we just get so drunk,
super drunk, super drunk, talking shit.
Like, should we pause it? Nope, just reach over for the whiskey.
Yeah, no, just pass it. Yeah, no.
I'm digging around for chapstick. Speaking of, so that's what that sound is. Very.
Oh yeah, you ready to get into this?
Yeah, I'm excited. I want to talk about this chick.
Fantastic. All right, we are talking about Husuan-Chi, who was born in 844 in Chang'an. I think that's how you pronounce that, Chang'an. Anyways, the capital of the Tang Dynasty, China. She came from a poor craftsman family, but she was living in the capital city. So there are, like every metropolitan area, there are universities there. There are all kinds of people, merchants. So by 12 or 13 years old, she's hanging out with the university students, trading sex for gifts and impressing the shit out of them with her genius poetry. And so now it's, 3,000 years after her death, 2,000 years, 2,200 years after her death.
Yes.
She is still being taught in Chinese universities. Her poetry is still being read and analyzed, and she's still considered one of the greatest Chinese poets.
So how old was she when she was at school trading?
No, she wasn't at school. She was just a 12 or 13-year-old vagrant from like a poor craftsman family that was like too busy working to mind her. So she was just hanging out with students, and like she would like read them her poetry, and they'd be like, oh my God, you're a genius. Here's a pearl necklace. And she'd be like, oh my God, this pearl necklace makes me so wet. And then
how about another kind of pearl necklace?
Right, yeah. Pearl necklace all over my neck.
It was weird because she's Chinese, but she had a Long Island accent.
Yeah. It's okay. I gotta stop doing accent. Every time I do any kind of accent, I feel like I sound super racist. I'm just nervous.
Yeah, it's very weird. I'll go hard into an accent. The more racist, the better.
Oh man! So during her era, during the Tang Dynasty, 700s and 800s, we actually have a lot of information about the literary and artistic prostitutes of the era, because they are all writing memoirs and they're inspiring all of the writers of their time. But we don't have as much information about middle and lower class prostitutes. We just know that they existed. But the Tang Dynasty is one of those periods where like high, well-read, high-achieving, high-status prostitutes existed, sort of like the courtesans in Venice and other periods where we anyway. Just wanted to throw that out there in terms of status. So
no, she at the time. So no, when she was a teenage dirtbag, I love that song. When she was hanging around school, she was a low class. Was she working as a prostitute at that point?
She was basically sugaring, but she wasn't low. She was dating the sons of the powerful. So she's like fucking dudes that are going to become powerful, but while they're in their student years. So like she's like a middle schooler hanging out with college kids.
Yeah.
And the college kids are like supporting her and telling her that she's brilliant and showering her with gifts.
Yeah. You're so smart. Sure she is.
Yeah.
Yeah, guess it's so weird that all the girls in junior high, the smart ones and the ones that were so like such brilliant writers and were so interesting, were also the ones that hit puberty and got tits when they were 13.
Yeah. Something about big tits makes you sound so mature for your age.
Get out of town with that. I was actually always very smart, but no one ever told me that because all I did was get taller and bigger shoulders.
So she grows up in this environment, having these conversations, living this like metropolitan life where she's absolutely free to do whatever the fuck she wants, and is like gaining notoriety as a poet when the son of one of the aristocratic families convinces her to move out of the capital city and into his province to become his second wife. All right, so they go back to his province. Presumably he didn't tell her about the second wife issue, that she thought that maybe she was gonna like wife up, although that's like not how things were done in that, because she didn't have like a family or ancestors or social standing or any of that shit.
Right.
So she goes back to the province. His first wife and him are spending all their time together. She now finds herself totally isolated in his house. She's not allowed to speak to anyone or see anyone that isn't him, his first wife, or their families. Yeah, because once you make the transition from public woman to private property, you're being cloistered and protected from the outside world is one of the governing principles of being a good woman, right?
Okay.
So during ancient China, during the Yang Dynasty, there are 3 different doctrines that like influence Chinese life, culture, laws, people's behaviors. The first one is Confucianism, which basically teaches that women are an inferior like subspecies of people. They should be hidden away, and that men and women should live separate lives. And this is an ideology that's designed to give virgin daughters and faithful wives to the rich and powerful to assure the not patrimony, not the patriarchy, but the paternity, of their kids. Whereas Buddhism and Taoism are are more like religious beliefs, where like tantric sex comes from. And these beliefs celebrate female sexuality and female sexual expression as being like the most important life force and a very powerful symbol, and explicitly encouraged men to seek out sex with women in order to like share their power, and explicitly encouraged sex outside of marriage and encouraged paying for sex. Actually.
See, I would do a combination of the two, because I like the part where like we're getting fucked and we don't have to be married, and we can, and they want to give us shit for fuck. I like that part, but I also really like the Confucianism thing of like, live separate lives, because I want my own bathroom. Like that's that's idyllic.
It sounds like you want to be a part of like a powerful harem where like all of the bitches in there are like allowed to read and write and say whatever they want. Yeah. That sounds
kind of.
ideal.
I mean, it's not far off from what I had for a while, which was my fucking dream. So like when you're like, oh, she gets to go like be, so she's second bitch.
Yeah, she's second bitch.
And I know we like to say wife, but we're taking the word back. But he has a main bitch, and that's his wife.
A wife who is very virtuous, been trained her whole life in modesty, and the whole reason that Yu was brought along is because her husband became intellectually bored by her, because the measurement of virtue in upper class women was basically like, how boring can you fucking be?
Yeah.
Because intellectual promiscuity of the mind leads to promiscuity of the body.
That's not fucking unlike New York now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very similar.
These patterns repeat themselves endlessly over time.
And I was watching because I did get myself a hotel room for my birthday, and it's very, very nice. So I was watching TV, which I don't have a television. And now, is that interesting? And that's a shout. Now, that's a dump, and I got to give the credit. That's Hollywood Handbook. I'm going to just, Mary, leave this in, because I don't. Hollywood Handbook is one of my favorite podcasts. It's just a pure
Shout out.
comedy nerd. It's one of the funniest things I've ever heard today. But I love, and anyway, so I just had to quick. It's a funny bit. You've probably, people listening to this have probably never heard of it, but I love it. But I really do not have a television, and I'm not saying that to sound like better than anybody. It's because I'm poor. I don't have, but I've been watching TV in this hotel, and goddamn it, is that if that's not a drug, I don't know what is.
Yeah, no, that's a drug. Sugar's for sure a drug. Caffeine's a drug. I mean, like, yeah.
Oh,
no,
I ate a jar of the Snickers.
Oh yeah.
In the hotel room, and I'm like, you know what? Because I did the math.
Did you feel the blood coursing through your body?
That's
like
probably
you were
why
on
I'm sick. And like now I'm piecing it together because I was like, I'm not gonna drink and I'm not gonna do drugs. I'm just gonna relax. Instead, I just watched Bravo and ate a bunch of the jarred candies.
That's worse than doing drugs and drinking, you monster.
I'm like, God, I feel so congested. It's like, oh, it's sugar. Anyway, but like watching the Real Housewives, I was watching that, and the women, and I know they're acting whatever.
Sure.
They're like playing it up because it's TV.
Yeah, but they're playing a type that we recognize in real life.
Right. But you look at the hyper, like the wives.
Yes.
They all, it's a very one track. They're very simple.
Mm-hmm.
They want clothes, money, stuff.
Yep.
And the conversations that they have. And so you go like, and watching that, and I haven't watched that show in forever, but I had this thing where I'm like, oh my God, I can see why even though the wife, the husband came on, they were like FaceTiming or something. And I was just like, no, but she did it. Now she had a makeup crew with her. So I was like, that's acceptable.
Well, this is like part of the thing where like people want like super young wives that they then that prevent from being worldly by like protecting them from the world. It comes back to this whole idea. The more experience that men get, the more manly and desirable and adult like they become. The more experiences, opinions, knowledge, biblical or otherwise, that women gather, the more damaged they are, the more unmarriageable they are because they're sullied in some way by going out and like experiencing the world as adults.
Right, because they're just like, well, what can I teach her? Men are really into, they want to like teach women shit and make us feel. But I was watching that, and I saw, because I was like, I'm like, oh, I could see 1,000,000% why this chick's husband, me, and I was thinking, I'm like, me in this state now, I could throw on some mascara, but you can see the draw. I'm like, oh, now I see why dudes like that want to date chicks like us.
Yes.
And do the sugaring thing on the side because their wives, they can't
talk
but
to
they're
them.
boring and they're very dumb. And they, even though it did take me
but it's like
3 minutes to get that sentence out, listen,
we might not be firing on all cylinders today.
We're never firing on all cylinders. I listen to every episode. Every episode, we're just like, yeah, we're always.
It's like, I don't know. We're doing our best.
But so that's ideal. So in theory,
well,
to be the second
the way
bitch.
that Chinese society. I mean, yeah, if you can stand it, except that she was so fucking isolated in this like Confucian-minded household. Because remember, the Confucianism is going to be the philosophy and the mindset behind civil servants, the entire court system, universities, and the ruling classes. So she's surrounded by all of these fucking like wasps for China, and she, remember, was a rabble-rousing poet who was like getting 18, 19-year-old university students excited about her verses, running around the city doing whatever the fuck she wanted to for 7 years. So now she's trapped in this house. So no wonder she ran away to a Taoist monastery and started hanging out with like whores and widows and a bunch of women. So she ran away from this like second wife isolated situation into a Taoist nunnery, basically. But because it's Taoism, they are celebrating sexuality and, most importantly, are celebrating and drinking a fuck ton of wine.
Oh, this is like a cool nunnery.
It's a cool nunnery. Well, because during the Tang
we
Dynasty,
we call that a funnery. Where I come from. Thank you.
Practically a brothel.
And we now pause, hold for applause from the audience, people listening.
Wendy's a genius.
And go. So she's at this nunnery.
And they're drinking so much motherfucking wine. So during the Tang Dynasty, wine was so rare and so expensive. It was a status symbol to be able to drink a bunch of it. So like the prostitutes are competing with men on this. The women in the brothel are celebrating like religious ceremonies with like copious amounts of wine. Like learning how to drink and hold your liquor becomes like a key that opens up many, many social doors. It isn't until 1,000 years later that wine becomes cheap enough that like poor people can be drunk, that drunkenness has like any negative social impact. Unless you become a monster, which it kind of sounds like Tu became just a nightmare angry drunkard. But anyway,
she would just get drunk and then she'd bring people in and she's like, "This is exactly how I would murder you."
She was like my dad in that way. Yeah, she's just got dudes' heads on the wall of like, fucking, I'll stuff you. He said the sentence, I don't like deer hunting. It's just the closest substitute I can find to hunting people, and I miss it. That's like a sentence.
I want to meet your dad. Because he sounds like the coolest motherfucker on the planet. And he's for sure like
he's a stone cold killer.
He's maybe half being honest, but also just fully fucking with Trey. A million.
He might be fucking with Trey.
I'm gonna guess. First of all, that's.
But I was raised on this shit, so like, I mean, if he's fucking with Trey, he's been playing a long con.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, maybe.
That's the only reason I want to have kids. I changed my mind. I was going to not have kids, but now I do want to have kids.
Now you definitely want to do it.
Only so I can be like, let's tell our kids that we murder people. Wouldn't that be funny? Like, instead of Santa, when they're young, I'll be like, Santa's not real, but you know what is real? This fucking knife in my shoe.
Your mom's a CIA double agent. She's killed 6 men with her hands.
Yeah.
After fucking them, making them come so hard, they begged for, I don't know.
I fucked him in the ass with a gun.
All right. So
she's at this nunnery.
Yeah, and she spends a year and a half there. So she's there with all of the other she's there with widows, she's there with former prostitutes, she's there with women who may never get married. So it's a bunch of single women getting drunk in a nunnery, studying this Taoist religion that celebrates female sexuality and female expression. Then she falls in love with the most famous male poet of the day, Wang Ting-Young, and they travel around the empire together. So sometimes like he brings her on his speaking engagements, and sometimes she brings him on his speaking engagements. So they're like this poetry power couple running all over the Yang dynasty, where they're like celebrating each other. And we have all of this poetry like celebrating this relationship from both of their perspectives. It's like really cool.
Oh, that's really sweet.
Yeah, and it's important to understand, like, to contextualize this relationship. In ancient China, it's the literary prostitutes that have a lot of high status for women. So like if she was Wen's wife, she would never be allowed to conduct herself this way. But because she was a prostitute, they were allowed to be equals in art. But she was being supported by these male patrons so men would compete
Which reminds
with each
us
other.
our Patreon is
Our
up.
Patreon is up. We've got so much to offer you. We've got postcards. We've got access to special live feed where we'll post behind the scenes pictures of us not in makeup and super hungover, I think.
Yeah,
we've got all kinds of stuff. We've got t-shirts and I think there's a dinner with us that you can actually
we got
actually do.
Anyway, shit, I'll give you the t-shirt I'm wearing right now.
Yeah. Well, it's a
sweatshirt and has a cat on it, and you can't really have it because it's cute. I know. All right. Yeah, we see. Look, I'm paying attention. We sneak that's called sneaking a plug in.
We snuck a plug in. Do you think anyone noticed?
Mm-hmm. But while I was doing a plug for Patreon, that's also how I get butt plugs in. I just sneak them in.
Just a little slip.
We're professionals at sneaking plugs in wherever the fuck we want to put a plug of any goddamn kind.
We got to get back to Wu and Wen.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
So she's
and Wen.
So she has dudes.
So she's got this dude. Yeah. So she's got these rich dudes
giving her money.
The thing is that she starts to become a celebrity. So she becomes like a sex symbol in ancient China as this well-renowned poet prostitute. So men are competing to bring her to functions as their date, because no man in Yang China is going to be seen in public with a woman from his own household, right? So as a wife, you are cloistered away. You're not allowed to be brought out. So all of these heads of state and dignitaries and wealthy merchants and like all of the powers that be in ancient China are competing to take these well-read, talented, artistically accomplished prostitutes as their dates to public affairs. Because so there are no wives and virtuous daughters in the house.
Yeah,
right?
Because we're more fun to go to a party with.
More fucking fun. Right, but they couldn't risk their daughters or their wives' fidelity, so they're bringing these women out in public, but it becomes like they're competing, like, you know how men buy cars to show off status?
Yes.
They're competing with expensive women dressed to the finery with all the poetry accolades or whatever. But in doing that, she becomes arm candy to the powerful, which she finds just as claustrophobic and intellectually repressive as she did being the second wife in this Confucius household, because it's the same dumb waspy bitches.
Yeah.
Right. So she starts to act out by getting super fucking drunk, fucking men beneath her station, bragging about it, sexually humiliating all of her lovers, pitting really powerful men against each other for shits and giggles, right? Could you imagine just like egging Lindsey Graham on in privacy? Like you're fucking him up the butt and you're just like, yeah, let's nuke North Korea. Like those are the games that she's playing.
I was going to say, hold on. Are we talking about her? Or are we talking about me? I'm confused. I was like, hold on. Did you open my...
Lindsey Graham up the butt.
Did you open up my... I fucked a billionaire in the ass.
Yeah.
I told you that Dude.
Well, you shouldn't encourage them to bomb other people while you're doing that.
Well, no, you're right. That would be a bad thing to do.
Unethical.
But if you're just getting hammered...
Yeah.
So she's
acting out in a way where she's basically like, I see... Because courtesans of the day... I mean, sort of like Marilyn Monroe and the expectations of being a female star. Mm-hmm. And she was like, no, fuck you, watch this. Right? Mm-hmm. She's basically she's shitting on everyone's social expectations. So remember, she had absolute freedom at 12, 13, 14 years old, running around university being like the darling of the ball. And then they like tried to put her in this wife role and she broke out of that. And now she's like the most successful, high class prostitute of her day, and she's like, no, this is too much work. You guys expect too much from me. I'm gonna tell fart jokes instead. I'm not gonna be the like sex symbol you want me to be. She's a fucking contrarian.
I know. Well, and you know what? I like this bitch. And
me too.
We're very similar. As far as identifying with this chick, but dude, this is how I feel now. Because in my mind, that's why you're talking about being a stripper. I was like, I can never be a stripper because I don't feel like I don't want to always be sexy all the time.
Right.
And I just have it. Yeah, it's an attitude of whatever I'm supposed to be doing, I want to do the opposite.
Yeah.
And now this is interesting because I'm also very A-type. I follow rules. I follow laws. I agree. I
some laws.
Right. Some.
Right. There's so many dumb laws. It's not our fault.
Hold on. Let me catch myself on that. I openly talk about it. Like, no.
We were doing coke 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I was doing cocaine with the guy that pays me to have sex with him. I mean,
I follow all the laws. I mean, stop signs.
I respect the law.
Mad respectful of the walking on the right side of the sidewalk thing that I think should be enforced by force of gun. That's the only thing.
Right.
That's the only crime I think you should shoot people for. Is just tourists wandering on the left-hand side of the sidewalk like they can't see. All right.
Right. I also am a good tipper, and I never, if a restaurant is closing down, I don't go in at the last minute and ask for shit.
I get embarrassed when I'm around super loud talkers.
Yeah, well, I'm so sorry. That's why we have to record this podcast in a bunker, and then we leave separately. That's why we never hang out. I'm like, hey, we should do it. The kid's like,
God. Not in public though, Wendi. I mean, like, I want to talk to you. I just don't want everyone else to hear what you have to say.
How about, do you want to hang out with my dad in the basement? He's about finished with that handle of bourbon. But yeah,
Remy Martin, if you guys are sending gifts to my dad for enduring me as his only... How could you imagine how fucked up that is? He's a fucking war hero and like crawled his way by like just the skin of his teeth and sheer force of will, like several rungs up the social ladder in order to give his entitled professional mouthy whore daughter every opportunity in the world.
Yeah.
Like...
The thing too is like what's so fun, the contrarian behavior, because this is something that I have a hard, like, I never thought. I can remember when I dated a guy who was like, have you thought about sex work? And he was joking with me. But then I'm
how
like,
crazy to get money for sex.
Well, because I remember, but in my mind, I remember thinking, and this is just a few years ago, I remember thinking I'm in my 30s. At the time, I had like a shaved head. So I'm in my 30s. I'm loud. I never was like a demure.
Right.
Kind of like a sweet whatever, and like I for sure am the first person to be like blackout,
Right, yeah.
I haven't been blacked out in a couple years. It's very boring. Thank you to stimulants. But it is that getting super fucked up and just starting shit.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to do.
Yeah.
But you have to work that angle.
You do have to work that angle because she doesn't have any allies, right? She doesn't come from a powerful family. She has no alternative source of income. Well, I mean, like, she's a famous poet. I mean, she sounds like if she were a dude, we would just be like, oh my God, this genius poet who suffered from the demons of alcoholism and self-bubble. Because she's a chick, we think she's this insufferable, manipulative shrew.
Yeah, because as a chick, we're just like, oh God, someone feed her a sandwich. Stop being such a slut. But like but you have to work that angle, and that's an angle that with the sugaring thing, I had to, because I can be like 2 to 3 hours. We've talked about this. 2 to 3 hours, and then I gotta
be sweet. No, but then the abrasive sniff starts, and it's like a form of self-protection.
Right.
And I feel like a cat where it's like you pet it, and then at the second you're done or I'm over it, like I'm gonna scratch your eyes out because I just didn't want you touching me anymore, and that felt like an appropriate reaction to me.
Yes. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's why the couple guys that I met that I have to just be super honest, and then the one guy that I had where I was the side bitch for a while. He, thank God, is like a maniac, so he would come to shows. But that's a rare. Because I mean, and the other thing I identify with this chick is like in both situations where she was in the home as the second wife, and then now it's like, okay, well, so now in theory this is ideal, but a lot of times you can self-sabotage big time, and that's like what she's doing in those.
Yeah, so that's what she's doing. So she basically creates a bunch of enemies among the most powerful members of the Tang dynasty in ancient China as a craftsman's daughter who writes poetry and has sex for money. So some insiders accuse her of whipping and beating one of her servant girls to death. Now, most historians agree that she had a reputation for having the temperament to do this because she appears to have become an angry drunk. But they also think that this was a setup because they brought out like all these weird false witnesses, and it's kind of like what they did to Marie Antoinette and like Catherine the Great. It's like they just tear her a new one. And if she just had one client left that was willing to go to bat for her, he could have prevented all of this. Because like, I'm sorry, just like killing a servant girl in 800 Tang China is like not. That's like servant girls are just dying left and right. They're being sold to slavery. I mean, like there's just life is not precious in this moment for servants. But she goes down for it because nobody will defend her. So she is tried, convicted, and executed. And she dies at the age of 27 in 871.
Holy shit.
She dies rich. She dies famous. Oh. She dies beautiful. And her poetry is still being taught in universities today. Now, she is an atypical example. Most women of her class, like that became literary prostitutes or like artistically accomplished prostitutes who were known for their paintings or their drawings or their musical talent, lived until like a ripe old age and died prosperous and like fucking fine. But she goes out in a blaze of glory, which may be one of the reasons why history remembers her, like Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, well, that's a literary prostitute to me. I'm like, wait, so are they getting paid in books? Because I would be real mad. Yeah, you know what? My favorite thing about her is like the going out like to fancy parties and like being arm candy, but then banging. Dude, I didn't even tell you.
Oh man, I used to do that all the like when I started having sex for money, my taste became like busboys and people sleeping on piles of dirty laundry. I had so much like gross sex with people that looked like they were trying to breed bed bugs. I mean, it was just it's weird. It's contrarian.
Yes.
It's fuck you. It's my body. I'll decide. You can't control me. Yeah.
I did that over the Christmas break, over the holiday. And I did it. So I went out with this guy that I see, not that often, but he's a big fish.
Mm-hmm.
So we go out, and I'm trying to be as discreet as I can. So we go out just to catch up, have lunch, right? So we have a boozy lunch. So we're sitting there at the bar. We are wrapping up with a boozy lunch, and he's now going back. We didn't fuck or anything like that, but he just wanted to hang out.
Yeah.
And so then he's going back to his regularly scheduled festivities with his main bitch.
Yep.
Okay. While he's there, I noticed some dude at the bar next to me on the other side of me, this like younger kid, kind of like dirty blonde. He's got kind of like looks like a weary traveler for sure in his early 30s. And
he's like in a youth hostel somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, except we were in a very nice hotel, but he looked like he could have been in a youth hostel. Now he's
like part of the help. Maybe he's in the band, like,
right.
He's standing there with his drink ticket, like trying to get.
Yeah. Now there's something when you're in a nice hotel, you're at a nice hotel bar in the city, holiday time, and he's buying expense. He's got money. So I did this. He's got a room key. So he's staying there, and I'm like, cool. He's staying here. This is great. So my dude goes to the bathroom. We may or may not, again, if you're a cop, I'm making this up. I typed this up all night.
We are comedians. We are protected artists. You know what? We make all of this stuff up. This fucking Husuan-Chi character doesn't even exist.
Yeah, it's all made up. So we may or may not have been doing illicit activities in the bathroom. And so he comes back. So my dude leaves, and I'm pretty buzzed, and I start hitting on this young kid. Because I'm like,
I've seen you in action. You are a force of nature. I've seen you like shift gears and like the goddess lives within you is what I'm trying to fucking tell you. Like you've got this fucking powerhouse of sexual energy that is
if you're gonna
awe-inspiring.
And back at you. Like but yeah, so, and because I didn't get fucked, I was horny, and I'm like, I want to fuck this kid, and I felt really empowered. So he goes, isn't that your boyfriend? And I was like, and I'm pretty drunk, and he's drunk. He was out the night before partying, doing a bunch of drugs at the LCD Sound System concert. So we start talking, and I'm like, I go, what kind of? I'm like, a mistress, like a side piece. So now this kid I become very interesting to him.
Yes. Oh man.
He was already
You're
being
breaking
flirty because he was already thought it was hot that like
you're a rebel.
Ooh, she's with this older like hot guy because he's old, he's good looking. And then when I was like, well, he's in that, he was like, that's amazing. I'm like, he's gonna leave and go back to be with his like wife, his family and stuff like that. But if you want to keep hanging out, he's like, yes. He goes, I have a room here. I can pay for everything. I pay for everything. So he actually has. Thank God.
He's like, I want in on this.
And it was great because I didn't have to be like, we didn't have to go halvesies. And we went, he was like, we go to dinner. And I said, well, I'm not paying. He goes, oh, I assume I'm paying for everything with you. And I was like, this is amazing.
Oh, good. I don't have to explain it to you. You're a quick study.
It was so great. And so then my dude comes back and they start chatting. And he's like, so the two of them are talking. And he's like, here, do you want to go to the bathroom? And they shake hands. And then this kid goes to the bathroom and he comes back. And then he's like, here's money. Have fun.
Amazing.
And he leaves.
Amazing.
And then I spent the weekend, this kid, I bummed around with this asshole. We went out all night.
Great.
And then he purposely missed his flight the next day, the 23rd, calls me drunk. And he's like, I skipped my flight. Let's get another hotel room. So he went he's like, I just want to spend time. Because we didn't fuck the first night.
Where's he from?
North Carolina.
Oh, what part?
I do not know.
Oh, man.
I swear to God, if he's your cousin.
I don't have any male cousins in North Carolina. Oh, that sounds amazing.
You're about to.
I'm about to marry into.
I told this fool to knock me up.
We went out to the farm. Uncle Russell is out there.
Oh, yeah. I love Uncle Russell.
Uncle Russell. Uncle Russell says hi.
Thank you. Hi, Uncle Russ. I'm obsessed with your family.
Well, yeah, it's crazy pants. I mean, I haven't been. I went home for Christmas last year because my aunt died and I had to drive with my dad cross country because we inherited this dog. And if he did the drive by himself, he would have tried to do it all in one go and would have killed himself.
Yeah.
So I had to pretend to be the one that needed a hotel. You know, like I was just. The rule was like we have to stop every night. We don't have to stop for more than 4 hours. We do have to stop every night.
Right.
We're not doing this driving through the night bullshit. You're 70 years old and you've been up for 2.5 weeks watching your sister die. We're not playing. There's nothing. Yeah, it's fine.
Right. No.
Yeah. So we did that drive together. So last Christmas was real fucking depressing for everyone. But we did get a new dog, Dara, who's great. But
Cute.
I spent, and you know, we drank like the three of us and had some intense fights because it was just like a high octave, like emotional time.
Right.
And this year.
Then you add alcohol. I mean, that makes everything better.
Trey's family doesn't drink. They're totally dry. They're Southern Baptist and they don't drink at all. So every family gathering is just like pleasant and fine. It's like it's mostly child.
I thought you were going to say every family gathering is us sneaking off every 10 minutes to go drink booze in the bathroom.
I wish, but it's just that. Yeah, it's like everyone's just his entire family is made up of like missionaries and like people that just want to make things nice for everyone. Like it's a very polite, hosty oriented, aggressively polite. I feel like this you bitch. I feel confined by their politeness and their niceness and their like social expectations where I'm like, I can't say the word cunt once. Come on, he's 4. He doesn't even know what it means.
Yeah, I got a problem. I don't like that kind of stuff, but I understand if it's a genuine but it's like, I mean, we drink.
They're genuine. They believe in Jesus real hard. Ugh.
A little eye roll there.
It's fine. Well, but it's also sweet and it's picturesque. Like we drove up in Trey's car, which I love. So we drive up to the farm and he gets out of the car and starts walking, and all of a sudden we hear this like yell from the shadow of the barn, and all of these Nerf bullets come like flying out at once as like all of the farm children begin their endless war on like, and then just start running around.
That's the beginning of every scary movie. It's just a bunch of inbred blonde kids.
Yes.
It's so cute. They had little weapons. They just like one of them's holding.
Rust.
Yeah, they're just holding each other down, like making eye contact with a Nerf, like a sponge thing to the guy's forehead. Like, don't look away. Don't you look away from me. That's what happens when you decline my FaceTime. I'm coming for you in the woods. So you said you told his family about this podcast
on accident.
Okay.
We were talking. I don't remember what we were talking about.
You were on Molly.
We were on. Oh no, I was talking about telling the story of Uncle Russell's 100 virgin heifers on the podcast, and and then this woman and her husband. He's a preacher, and I forget what she does. She's a preacher's wife, but she also does other things. And they have 2 little girls who are absolutely adorable, and I love them both. But we were talking, I was telling about Uncle Russell's 100 virgin heifers, and she was like, oh my God, I love podcasts. What's your podcast? And I was like,
and you said,
I said the oldest profession, and her husband smiled knowingly, and I said, it's very crass. It's meant to be funny. And they said, oh no, we're fine with that. And I'm like, I don't think I don't know. So we'll see if I'm still allowed to hang out with her kids. I don't know.
Yeah, we're fine with that. We're training the oldest one to be a hooker herself. She's going to read you some poetry now, and you either have to give her jewelry or a hand job. Those are the rules.
We're real open-minded here.
That's that shit. See, that's when it's super, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, shit's getting real. It's yeah. I mean, my apparently one of the other utterances. My dad wanted to make sure that Trey knew that I was a whore and make sure that he was okay with that, because I've proven my whole life I'm going to do whatever I want. So Trey, my dad has no idea how to feel about this.
Yeah,
he's like, he wants to be proud of me, and is also just can't let go of the idea that it's the worst thing.
Can I please go to your wedding? I just want. I don't even have to. I don't even have to get food. You don't even have to feed me.
We'll feed you.
I just want to watch your father interact with Trey's family. I want to watch. I want to watch this. This is like modern day McCoy. What was there? People that you know this, right?
Wait, no. What is
the
this?
Feuding Families?
Oh, yeah, McCoy and from Huckleberry Finn.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark Twain. The McCoys and the fucking
Hatfields.
Oh,
look at that. Wendy knew something.
Yeah,
it's Hatfields and McCoys.
Like the Romeo and Juliet family.
Yeah. That's going to be... your dad just going to be threatening to kill, just drinking, and they're going to throw holy water at your family.
Honestly, I think it's going to be my father and his entire family versus my mom, while she screams about abortion in the corner, and my dad just bonds with the socially conservative Southern Baptists, and they don't judge his drinking, and he speaks their language, but they're all socially conservative.
Yeah.
So I think it's just going to be my mom that's a loud Yankee.
Well, either way, I want to be there. I'm going to go.
It's going to be very exciting.
And I'm going to Instagram live it
Please.
To all the people on the show. Yeah, God, it's so. Now, do you find
gotta
yourself
be a Dear John patron to get access to that? I'm not having just anyone jerk off to my wedding.
Do you find, and this is just as far as the self-sabotage thing? Because did you ever do that in sex work, or do you find that are you doing that with Trey? Do you feel that need?
I feel it a little bit with Trey sometimes. I've definitely felt it in a reaction after sex work. So I was usually able to keep it together with clients, but I'd just be at a bar and I would perceive that some dude was treating me like he was a client. And then I was trying to explain to him that a $15 martini did not my whore character buy. So I would just be mouthy and contrarian and say whatever fuck I want to, and not try to be polite and not try to take his side on the issue, and not think that he's interesting and not think that he's funny. And he would think that that was really rude and aggressive. And then we'd have that argument, and then he would get kicked out of the bar. So yeah. That's
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. But that's smart, though, if you can, to put it out.
To try to, yeah. No, I definitely tried to take it out on strangers.
Yeah. Because don't fuck with your money.
No.
Ladies and germs.
But with Trey, it's, yeah, I mean, my therapist and I agree that I have intimacy issues. And so I feel it in a kind of like a physical thing. Like I want to peel him off of me like a wet bathing suit, or there'll be a kind of thing where I'm just like, I need space, or like you're breathing wrong, and I want to. Yeah. The fact that the way that you're breathing makes me want to pummel your face, which feels like not the right reaction.
Right. That's definitely, that would be an overreaction.
Right. Yeah, an overreaction. No one can breathe wrong. That's not a thing. That,
I am currently breathing wrong. I swear to God, I ate. It was probably the equivalent of like 1.5 full Snickers bars. They were the mini ones, and I was like, "It's my birthday. I'm alone. I got this hotel room by myself.
I'm not doing drugs. I'll do these drugs."
Yeah, and now I'm like, I can't breathe from eating nougat.
Jesus.
Yeah, right. with the LCD sound system kit, it was really fun to go to. But it's a nice, you can, to feel that turn. And I think it's interesting because there are people who are listening that are like they're doing sex work full on.
Yep.
And then if you're carrying on a traditional relationship outside of that or during that,
yes,
that balance, because you're walking that line.
Yes.
And it's similar to, and I know you've brought this up with your dad, but my parents also, well, they're retired but cops.
Mm-hmm.
When you're on the job, you have to keep it together. And
yes.
there's so many cops who have night terrors and they wake up and they strangle their wives.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad's like the coolest guy in the world, but you have this PTSD thing. And then you come home and you take it out on your family and the people you're with, when it's like, because you can't.
Yeah, when your job is a kind of sexual and emotional labor, it can manifest itself weirdly in relationships for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so Trey and I got into a fight because when he gets drunk, he gets really selfish, and he gets really selfish in like what I perceive to be kind of like an energy or like an attention vampire way, where he just wants my attention, but he doesn't want to have a conversation with me. Right. So he reminds me of like the dudes at bars that the conversation is like, oh my God, your eyes are so beautiful. Oh my God, your tits are so beautiful. Oh, I love your thighs. It's like, this is not a conversation.
Oh my God.
I am standing here while you talk at me.
Right.
And if I look away, you call me rude. This is fucked up. So we were at a wedding on January 30th. And it was great. It was beautiful, like gorgeous country club. And the groom went to Enloe, the same high school that Trey and I went to. So I knew a bunch of people there. But Trey got the kind of drunk where he gets socially anxious, and so he just wants to latch on to me. So like every time I started talking to someone else, he like shoved a chocolate covered espresso bean in my mouth. He would like try to drag me out on the dance floor, and I'd be like, I don't want to dance right now. I'm in the middle of a conversation. Right. So like he's having a hard time hearing me, having a hard time with boundary setting. And it got to the point where I was like, if you wanted to bring me here as arm candy and as your fucking ornament, then you need to fucking pay me.
Yes, that costs money.
Yeah, if you're going to treat me this way, if you're going to treat me like an object that is yours to be used however you want to be used, then you need to pay my hourly rate, because this is bullshit. Like, we are not at this party together with a bunch of our friends. You just keep dictating my movements, what I'm eating, what I'm doing, who I'm talking. Like, I won't stand for it. That's so the compromise that we came to is like, when he's drunk, I'm just not interacting with him. I'll just leave.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because I love sober Trey. Drunk Trey is an irritant, and I don't fucking have to deal with him. Right. I just don't.
Yeah, that's a good. The North Carolina kid that I hooked up with, it was super, super obnoxious. But I could deal with it once. He was so hammered that when he was, and this is the great thing, because he paid for like concert tickets and he was paying for dinner, but he wasn't
paying your rate.
Payroll.
Yeah. No, he's not paying for your time.
No.
Yeah. No, he's luring you with food and a concert experience that you want to go to. But the second he makes either of those things unfun, then it's fuck
it's like,
you.
I'm leaving, and guess what? I'm the one who got us a car here, and he's got his own money and he's whatever. But it's like, I'm taking cars places.
Yeah.
And like we went the first night we hung out, so my guy leaves and we go and we're just like fucking real buzzed. We go to an escape room and then we get more drinks and we get a grilled cheese sandwich, and then we go to this concert. It's very fun.
Yeah.
We get back to the hotel, it's like 1 a.m, so it's not even that late, but we just started drinking at noon.
Yeah.
So we're pretty tired. So we didn't fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And he's so drunk that I was like, oh my God. And he's like that young drunk.
Yeah.
I mean, he's Trey's age. Excuse me. He's like, 33, 34.
There's like an arrogance.
It's a
that
similar personality type.
Yes.
They're both actually very similar, this kid and Trey, because they're like very nice boys.
Yeah.
But he got so drunk, and it was really, so we lay down, and he's in a hotel room with his buddies. They're downstairs drinking, and we get in bed, and he's like, just wants to cuddle. Now, I felt his dick because I wanted to make sure he had a big enough dick, and I was gonna fuck him, but then I didn't because I was like, I'm tired. I don't want to deal with this.
Sure.
I just didn't want to deal with it. So I leave. The next day, he's very drunk. He calls me, and he's texting me and calling me. He's like, hey, I missed my flight. You need to come see me. I missed my flight to spend time with you, so you have to come see me. And I'm like,
wait, how did you make this your problem thing my problem?
Yeah.
That's not, we don't know each other long enough for your problems to be my problems,
yeah, I'm like,
dude.
listen, I don't know if they just feed Southern people The Notebook on a loop. Right? Or they just watch
Gone
movies.
With the Wind. That's why we're so racist.
It's and Harry Connick Jr. rom-coms where he's like, I know this will get her. And it did kind of work, but I was like, I got to go to the gym. I have shit to do. And he was like, come now. And I'm like, no. But it was actually, this was my most favorite power move.
Yeah.
And this is the same where you're kind of taking it out. I made him wait for like 4 hours, and he just got drunker and drunker. And then he was like, let's get
And then you shut up, and you were like, I don't want to hang out with you when you're like this.
Yeah. And he was very drunk, and he was like, you need to take care of me. And I was like, Jesus Christ. It was obnoxious. And I had to feed him water. The benefit, though, to a real young kid, his fucking great dick. And he just stayed hard. We fucked like 4 times.
That's amazing.
And I fucked him sober.
Good.
And he would come, and then like 10 minutes later, his dick was hard again. And I'm like, get out. Oh, God. It's like,
see, that kind of thing would drive me crazy. I'm kind of like I'm good for a long sesh, you know? Like, I'm good for like, if you want to fuck me, like 45, 80 minutes, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But like,
we have very specific
45 or 80 minutes.
I like that we both
if it goes to a full hour and a half, I will kill you.
Right. Well, and I like too that it's like and sex workers know this, like where we have exact, like as comedians, we're pretty good. We like understand time, and because you have a 12-minute set, a 15-minute set, you get a light. You have a pretty good sense of how much time you've been on stage. Like even recording the podcast, we have a pretty good. But and then it's the same thing with sex work. You can tell. It's like a massage therapist.
That way, you're totally right.
Yeah, you can tell when you can just feel the rhythm.
I know in myself I can't do a full 90 minutes of fucking.
Right. Because now we're
I can do a 2-hour session of things that are not fucking.
Right. But 90 minutes straight? No, we need to do breaks, or now it's a triple rate because that's crazy.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, it is. You can.
If you smell rubber burning, something's gone wrong.
Yeah, it's like a massage therapist knows. You know, you can get like I try to get lost when I get a massage and get lost in the moment and not think like when is this going to be over because it feels so good.
Yeah.
But they're watching a clock. But yeah, with sex work.
Yep.
Yeah, if I'm with
comedy, absolutely.
Yeah, you can feel without even knowing.
I bet therapists do this too.
Oh,
I bet
sure.
Therapists know in their body what like 45 minutes exactly feels like.
Yeah, of just a mundane conversation. That's how we feel. Sex workers, you get it. If you're not a sex worker and you're a patron, or you're dating someone who is or used to be a sex worker, yeah, we're like fully in the moment.
Yeah, 40, maybe even 60% of the time that you're talking, we can feel. It feels like a timer. I feel like the sand's running out of my body.
Right. Well, you can feel too where you're like, and you also, it's like, did you ever go to an hourly hotel?
No.
Okay, so I've been to one 3 times.
Oh God, that same asshole.
Yes.
Oh God.
I did. Well, I haven't seen him for a while, but it was like that was the worst. And what they do in the hourly hotels. And yet he's like, well, this is where married people go. And I was like, no, this is drug dealers and hookers. And you know how I know? Because I'm both.
Because I'm both. Right. Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
not a drug dealer. No, but what they do, because they give you like a 20-minute call, which is kind of nice.
Yep.
Because it's hourly. So that's.
Yeah, so it's kind of like
wrap it up.
The benefit of a brothel or a madam of somebody to knock on the door and be like, "Hey guys, wrap this up." So you, as the provider, don't have to break the facade of being the good time girl.
Right.
You get to stay the good time. Oh, I wish we could spend more time together. I really do, but golly gee, the rules says
I know. I just got. My pussy just got the light.
Uh-oh.
You got to wrap it up. And by wrap it up, I mean a condom on your dick or jerk yourself off in the bathroom.
It's 2018.
Yes.
We've had a fantastic start to the year.
Yes.
We've got our first live show coming up, February 15th, 8 p.m., Club Coming.
Yes.
Tickets are available by the time this episode comes out, I promise.
That's going to be so fun.
That's so fun. We got Patreon up. That's going to be another exciting development this year. We got big goals.
Yep, I got an apartment.
Woo! We're stepping up in the world. What else is going on? What else do you want to plug before we
Oh, God.
wrap
I
this?
don't even know. Nothing else. Glamour Puss. You can come to Glamour Puss January 19th. That's
Sweet.
a show I do at Zinc Bar.
It's a great show.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Super fun.
And tickets are up on my Instagram and Twitter and all that bullshit. Follow at Wendi Starling, at WendyBird82 on Instagram.
Great. Follow Kaytlin Bailey. My name's spelled weird. Kaytlin Bailey. Bailey. Follow us on Twitter at Old Pro Podcast. We're also on Instagram at Old Pro Podcast, and we're on Patreon now at whatever it's like patreon.com/Old Pro.
Yeah, we're great. I'm dying from eating this candy. I need to pick up some drugs real quick.
Absolutely. And if you're one of our Dear John supporters, thank you very much. Send us your emails at theoldestprofessionpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
And if you're not one of our Dear John supporters, email us anyway. We'll write you back.
Yeah, we love it. Email us. We love hearing from you guys. Have a happy New Year, Kaytlin. I'm so glad we're back.
Happy New Year. Happy birthday.
Thank
you for listening. This has been
The Oldest Profession.
Woohoo! This episode is sponsored by Velvet Swing, which is a cannabis-enhanced lube that is very nice.
Ooh.
You should follow the founder. This is a whore-owned and operated business.
Okay.
Mistress Matisse on Twitter. So buying this product supports not just your own sex life, but also the sex worker rights movement. Mistress Matisse is a big deal.
Thank you, Mistress.
Yes, you can follow Mistress Matisse at Mistress, MISTRESS, Matisse, MATISSE.
Yeah, you know why we feel so good? Because while you were in the kitchen about 10 minutes ago before we recorded this, I took the cannabis lube and I jammed it in my butthole. I'll tell you, not the thing.
How do you feel?
Amazing.
Right? You feel relaxed?
I feel my butthole feels great.
Your butthole feels relaxed?
Oh my God, I didn't even think about this. This would be great for anal.
Of course. Yeah, you can't overestimate the importance of a relaxed butthole.
I love anal already. I'm going to be squirting all over the wall if I put some... Okay, now I do want to wrap this because I want to go get fucked.
Velvet Swing, so you can get high while getting down.